From sports to culture, mental health to economics, politics, relationships, and life issues.
Sit down and catch up with Aaron 868 and Ricardo Mitchell as we have casual conversations on serious topics.
Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
It is now just about 2 minutes after 6 p.m. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the True Nation Station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
Culture Crazy.
Alright, first and foremost, let's kick this off as we already did, but we always do. Must give thanks and praise to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and allowing us to see another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
Give thanks.
There we go. And speaking of giving thanks, we must give thanks to the ancestors, to those who went before us. And we're not just talking about the Talos and the Kalinagos, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with our chest that Columbus lied. But Mr. Desmond and Tony P, and the P this week stands for
Possibility. Yes, that's a good one. And the truth is, the message I want to send across with this P this week is that to lean into the possibility and not into the negatives. A lot of us have dreams, a lot of persons have goals, and sometimes we allow persons' negativity or just our own self-doubt to kind of hinder us from taking the step forward. So let's be positive, let's lean into what is possible and give ourselves the best chance to get things done.
Well, if you don't know who you're talking to, right? I am Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global stage. And, DJ Aaron 868 is back, but decided that, my special guest co-host was doing such a good job that he's going to take another couple days hiatus. And we have, I'll allow him to introduce himself, because he's no stranger to the living room.
Yes, no stranger to the living room. My name is Joash Webb with his web of influence. And I'm here to connect you to the source as always.
The man is ready. Can he sign him up? Sign him up. All right, let me get a sports thing going on.
I'm ready.
And so we're in the living room where we have casual conversations on serious topics, right? And I'm glad that you could sit down and catch up with us. This conversation was a while in the making, right? I had the pleasure several weeks ago of accompanying Joash on a shoot. Big up gift from Gab and her studio.
Yes.
And it was quite a fascinating experience. Joash is quite possibly the second or third busiest person I know.
That's true.
But I understand why now. We had some great encounters that day, and I've seen him do some amazing work since then. But I met some of his clients, friends, guests, connects, and I had to take the opportunity because of what they were doing to share the space that I've been allowed to manage because of not just the significance, but the love that I saw go into that simple exchange. Right, so I'm going to kick over to Joash and allow him to introduce our guest.
Thank you so much, Ricardo, because it is a pleasure to introduce our guest today, because she is someone who I really admire the work that she's doing, someone with a heart for people, a heart to help, a heart to really care for persons in society and those that are either less fortunate or probably have difficulties. She's always there with a helping hand. This person is the founder of Cupid's Doorway for mothers and children, and Cupid's Doorway is actually embarking on a project that we'll speak about soon, called Artism. She's a social worker by profession, and I really don't want to take too much time, but yes, this is Miss Chervon Cupidore.
I clap in circles. I'm not from JL. Who, by the way, JL, congratulations on your wedding. Yeah, putting it out there.
Time for me to get married too, yeah?
Yes.
My wife out there, Just prepare yourself.
So pleasant good evening, guys. Thank you for having me in the living room. It's a great pleasure to be here to engage in a fun, exciting conversation about a very important and relevant topic, especially in this month of April, where we acknowledge the community of autism, as this month is World Autism Awareness Month,
Yeah.
which would have been commemorated on April 2nd. So, yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much, Joash. I second the fact that Joash is always on the move, but it's simply because he's so helpful and he's talented and gifted, and everything he does it with just such excellence, so that you want to get him on your team. It's like you're doing something, I want Joash on my team because I know it will be done with excellence. So I'm glad to be here and have the opportunity, of course, as we would have met and you invited me to your beautiful space and platform. So
Well, the irony of beautiful spaces is that we record in the living room, and this particularly beautiful space is her living room. So
Yes.
this is a space that I think we could really advance the program as well. Aaron, I know you're listening. Let's start taking the world into Trinidad and Tobago's living rooms.
Yes. I second that. Right? Oh,
Yeah.
dude, Yeah.
yes.
So thank you for this. You are officially on record as the debutante. Right? This is the first time we've gone into a living room, in the guest living room.
Okay,
Right?
nice.
Because this is a matter that is actually very close to home, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
correct.
So I figure home would have been a pretty good place
Yes,
Yeah.
it's ideal.
to do this.
Yeah, because the coming out of the birthing of Cupid's Doorway, it would have stemmed from me being a mom of 3, loving my beautiful kids, and wanting to support parents, particularly mothers, on their maternal journey, pre-natal care and postnatal care, and also coming out of postnatal care, extending support throughout your lifespan as a parent, as a mother, how you can support your children. And the plot twist came in March 23rd, 2024, when my son was diagnosed with autism, my second child, and he was going to be 3, 2.5, and that's where I was thrown into a new journey of parenting, one filled with the unknown, as they will say, and that did take me on a personal journey. So the project that I'm embarking on, which we'll talk about a bit more, really came from a personal place of turning pain into purpose, and how that transformation came of a journey of transformation, isolation, really seeking support and finding that village to take me through. So most definitely the project that has been birthed came from a true testament of a journey with my son, and also just being a mom in general, but having a neurodivergent child in the spectrum.
Chervon, I heard you speaking about journey like multiple times there, and the fact that it came from a personal space or from home,
Yes.
right? Can you tell us a little bit more about like what has changed, or because I know it's something difficult, and I said the word of the week is possibility,
Yes.
and you could have taken this situation and probably saw it as something negative and really just head down a spiral in another direction,
Yes.
right? But you've chosen to actually foster your emotions and your experience and everything in that journey you speak about
Yes.
into autism. But tell us, like, how have you changed from before having someone in your family with autism to now?
All right. So the change came with education. All right, because I just thought I was a exciting mom on my new journey as a parent, a social worker. So I believe I have entered into the lives of many people, trying to, as our mantra will be to be a change agent, right? It's in fact change into the lives of children, because that would have been my primary focus for over 10 years working in the school system. And I just thought life had its own, you tick off the boxes, right? You go to school, get married, you have kids, and just life will just have its ups and downs, but it just will go a particular linear way. I think I was thrown into that mindset. So this one was a curveball. That I was like, I had to be educated now. That it's different. It's different in ways of, there's a theory we learn in school of shame and stigma. And I did that course in school and master's program, and I always say shame and stigma you associated with a lot of persons struggling with domestic violence and different things, how they cope with pain and treat with problems. But that's when I encountered shame and stigma for myself. And I had to accept that, there were times when I felt ashamed of my son's diagnosis, because again, lack of education and awareness. I felt like somehow everybody was looking at me. I used to feel like everywhere I go, people were looking at me to be different. And different, when we say different, not in positive way. Different as, you're ostracized, feel a bit isolated and separated. Even my son used to ask, why does he do these weird things, my older son? So my older son also felt uncomfortable at times. And I said, no, Chervon, you have to accept this. And you and daddy have to talk about this and figure out how you're going to accept this journey. So I must say, in terms of the journey of mentioned possibilities, that's when I just jumped in quickly to acceptance phase. I didn't want to stay in denial for too long, and I accepted the journey ahead and started to educate myself, learn more about it, ask questions, and quickly, if anybody knows me, I'm a very busybody person, so I quickly got on the ball and I started to cope with my stress, my pain, through bringing life to my community in this area. So meeting new moms in this journey, educating. Again, I'm not fully educated as some of my forerunners in this field. I'm now getting there, but I just started to do more in terms of just building up and sharing knowledge.
Yeah. I wanted to mention something like that at the beginning, especially in terms of knowledge, because for me as well, as we are speaking, I don't want people to think that I am any expert either.
Yes.
Getting involved in the field a bit and acquiring knowledge as well.
Correct.
I know you mentioned acceptance just now. You accepted it, but how did persons around you accept or came to that acceptance? Did they have a journey as well, or was it just shell shock, probably negativity, or some of them welcoming and understanding? How was it?
All right, so I must say, so initially, of course, Daddy and I were in the room together about the diagnosis. I had suspected it, so I would have been the one made the appointment to do the assessment. And it was ironically on his birthday, but that was the only day we were getting, because the appointment system is so tough in Trinidad. In the public sector, we took like 18 months to be screened. So we had to go privately. And even privately, we waited 3 months to see the private doctor, which is a paid thing, right? So the system, it's very painstaking when it comes to accessing some of the basic services for him to initially be screened. So I looked at when the doctor is doing his assessment and everything, if the emotions there, and Daddy immediately went into a state of shock. And I felt really sad for him because I don't know, like I didn't know what to tell him. I think that changed his birthday. So his journey was different, and he chose not to talk much. And you say men don't talk much and open up, but he loves his painting into that extra love. I have to tell him sometimes, don't overcompensate. But you have to discipline him. Yeah, he's just like everybody else. He's a full autism dad, right? He's a full advocate for his son. He has moved, and there are many times he was like, I don't know how I've come to this place, but he's not a talking type, but trust me, he could advocate well for his son. So I saw that with my husband in terms of that journey. In terms of the my mom, so my mom is very involved in church, her having involved in ministry. So we had the discussion about spirituality, and his diagnosis came up. So it took a while also for her to understand the science and the medical aspect of autism and finding that balance between his diagnosis and just her concept of faith and understanding what God has done in his life, to a point whereby now she's in church. She could spot a child with autism now. She's able to say, someone came in church to pray for their child, and I believe the child had autism. So in the way she even interact with parents, with kids on the spectrum, it's different, because before she didn't know anything about autism.
Yeah.
All right. So and now she speaks highly of it. Before she was very timid and reserved to even say it, to name it. And now you're hearing her naming, using the terminology. So she came to her acceptance in her own way. So my village, being my mom, my grandmom, they have grown well in terms of understanding autism. My son, so funny, the other day, my son, to my autism son, he was speaking a little bit because he's a bit non-verbal. It's more non-verbal. So he started to say words, and my eldest child was like, "Mommy, come, he's not autistic. He don't have autism anymore. He don't have autism anymore. He's talking now. This child don't have autism." And I was so proud of him, because he's learning. Even my oldest son is learning about it.
Yeah.
And he has this confidence that his brother will be normal and function just like him. So yeah, the journey has been it has its ups and downs, because I could talk about them, but I choose to be look at the possibilities.
Yeah.
Whereby it's where we are now in terms of the journey.
Yeah, I really like that. And you're speaking about your son just now. I really would like to hear about him a little bit more, because I haven't met him. What are some of your fun moments with him, because I know as a mom you'd experience. You said that there's the highs, the lows.
Yes.
What do you love about the process? Because I know I've heard another autism mom speak about in their journey they came to love where they've grown in the process. So tell me what you love about.
Yeah, so his name is Jahael Cricky. Jahael loves the color purple. He loves number 8 as a specific number. It's very detailed. He loves numbers in general. Fascinated by numbers.
Me too, I love numbers. Love maths. Yeah.
Maths, yes.
I love prime numbers.
Really?
Prime numbers, really?
Are amazing.
Yeah, because he saw the show Number Blocks.
Yeah.
And after that, he was off the chain with this particular show. I think if he had a career path, he may want to be a police officer, because he's stuck on this show called Sheriff Labrador. So everything is, you're arrested. You're arrested. I'm coming to get you. He has his favorite television show. I was very emotional one day when I went to his school, and his teacher told me in his assessment after school, he's like, your son has a best friend. It's like, he has a friend? It's like, yeah. In school, he calls out his name and they play together. And I was like, really? Knowing that, because again, your concept in your mind is like, this child may not have a regular life like everybody else. Initially, upon the diagnosis, you think, okay, this is it. It's like, he's going to be fully dependent on you. His social life, purple, compared to my eldest son, who's a social butterfly like his mom. I kept thinking, would he have friends? Like, would he have those experiences like I would have had in my childhood? And hearing that broke me down. And I felt like my son has a friend. And so that was one thing I learned, that he could make friends, right? He has the skill of doing that, which is really good. Jad loves to sing. He loves music. So we're getting into the music aspect of things.
So you can see how we took something from you in terms of performing arts
Yes,
and
he
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the creatives, I think he will do fantastic because he loves to sing. His younger sister is his antagonist. She has jolted him into reality. She has limited empathy. She doesn't understand autism.
Yeah.
She treats him like a child, like a human. Full. So he will be taunted and bullied, and he learned to speak from her. He said, "Stop it." Stop it. And he would run and he would hide. So my daughter, my third baby was a surprise baby. And I didn't know the purpose in terms of after having her, because I had two sons, I was ready, that was it. And she came in and she became his twin.
She was like, wait a minute. There is more.
Yes, she came. And then, so both of them, they're like twins.
Yeah.
They do everything, almost every single thing together. And he has grown significantly until the pediatrician told me, that little girl, you may not need any speech therapy. That little girl will get him talking. And I have seen it. Indeed, he will need additional therapy and support going forward. But to get him introduced to words,
Yeah.
my boy, oh boy, him and his sister. So yeah, my son, he's going to be 5. All right, so he's 4 now. He'll be 5 in August, and he is in a private school for now. Our hope will to get him mainstream into the regular school system in terms of his learning. But for now, our core focus is to just get him to learn basic life skills, to function independently the best he can at his developmental stage. So yeah, that's where we are at with Jahai. I would love you all to meet the entire team. I'll call them my team.
Yeah.
For you, and you'll have fun with them, right, Uncle Joash?
Yeah. Sure thing. From what I'm hearing so far, it sounds like a thriller. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm all in.
2 things before we move on. There's an intersection of faith and psychology that I believe deserves some exploration. Because we might be the descendants of a generation that would try to pray everything away. And what we couldn't pray away, we would end up denying existed. So it is interesting to hear the evolution that your family has been going through in terms of the different levels and types of acceptance, and moving from acceptance into an awareness and even an element of expertise. Because I don't believe God makes mistakes.
Yes, exactly
And
that.
the exposure that his grandmother would have had to him
Yes.
now equips her to be able to help others
Yes.
and help other families.
Correct.
So I'm a firm believer that experience, the purpose of experience is expertise. Right? Anything that you're going through is not just to break you or even make you. Sometimes it's to give you something to help other people. You know, so for me to hear that, it was encouraging. It was encouraging. And I also kind of wondered, with yesterday being the first day of school and all, what was the first day of school like for him?
Right.
Yeah.
It was he's actually in a new learning space. He started last week. So again, having a child on the spectrum, you have to do a lot of planning and organizing, because structure is important to keep his routine well and adjusted to avoid any setbacks in his growth and development. So knowing that the first day of school would have been yesterday, he kickstarted a week in advance so that I would have given him enough time to settle and adjust himself, because he could get overstimulated pretty fast, tends to get anxious. If you change a route to head to school, he will get anxious or nervous. So I prepared him, even though he's not verbal, he's more non-verbal. I spoke with him and explained that we're going to a new space, going to have a new auntie. And he said, no auntie. I said, yes. And by the second day, so the first day was no auntie. Second day, he had tears, had in school. But by the third day, he called auntie grandma now. So he's like, let's go grandma, let's go grandma. And he repeated. And over the weekend, he kept asking, let's go grandma. I was like, no, we're not going my grandma today. We go my grandma on Monday. And then went to church yesterday, and he's asking like, on Sundays, and ask again. And I'm like, no, we're going my grandma on Monday. So he has started this new experience, and I'm already seeing improvements with him. And special kudos to a good friend of mine who has decided, she's always had the passion to open her own school, preschool. And Aaron, that's actually Jahiel's godmom. So she was working at an institution. She heard of my challenge of finding a school that could integrate him well, because I had him at a school who recommended that he goes into a regular preschool because he was showing signs in terms of his progression that he doesn't need to see in the specials. So my girlfriend jumped on the journey, highly motivated. She said, here's what, this is probably, the sign I needed to start my own business. She opened a preschool. So now she has Jahiel, and she also has my daughter in her preschool, and she has other kids to start. And she's also on Project Artism with me, and she has actually taken the journey now to become entrepreneurial, because she has a passion for this population. And hearing the lament on searching for schools that was so expensive, it was beyond my budget. And she's like, you know what, I'll do something. And she prayed about it. She came back and she did it. So now both him and his sister, they spent the entire day together, but at school and at home, but they're progressing well in this new environment. So I really am shout out to my girl Corinne for doing a fantastic job and really taking that leap of faith, and as I say, adopting my two little ones in her space that will be growing, because we are actually researching and best practices and models that can support inclusive learning. And trust me, my mind goes, it's very creative. That's why autism is kind of going to be a big one, because my mind is moving fast.
Yes.
And Corinne and I are going to really use this as a building tool. I'm going to be a parent in her institution, but really supporting her with my knowledge I have learned thus far on my journey with my son, as well as the Project Artism.
Yeah, we really get through the word possibilities. This comes because
That's why I let you pick it.
y'all don't know, I was there like, what word with P-boy? But Corinne really looked at the possibilities. Is there space? Is she still taking?
Yeah, yes. She has just started, and it's limited spots because of what she will want to do with the students in terms of in embracing both neurodivergent and neurotypical children in a learning space. But he is open to have persons register and come on board, because we are in Couva, right, Central Trinidad. And I know she has years of experience in the area of early education, in early childhood education. But I'm telling you, like, I couldn't believe she just jumped on that one. Yeah, and she made a possibility, and it's with purpose. So definitely.
Yeah, I know you're speaking about we want to get to autism, right? We really want to get to autism because I know about it, you know about it. Ricardo kind of want to learn a little bit more.
Following Cupid's doorway.
Yeah,
So I want to find out what else to follow.
Yes.
yes, we do have whole night here. So tell us what is this autism thing we kind of telling everybody about, or hinting about,
Yes. So good. The Cupid's Doorway for Mothers and Children, as I said, we were created to support the journey of mothers, with an emphasis providing support for mothers and caregivers of parents with children on the spectrum, primarily that of ESD, autism spectrum disorder. When a friend of mine would have reached out to me to say that, hey, we can do some work with persons with disabilities. I said, yeah, that's good. You know, we should do something. A grant opportunity came up and we tried to, you know, shoot for that one. And he was like, what you thinking? Like, what authentically you're feeling to do with persons with disabilities? And we had so many ideas brainstorming. And then we pulled back. Him and I were childhood friends from primary school. We went to secondary school. But one thing that brought us together was the fact that while we attended Bristol Secondary School, graduating in the year 2009, graduating class 2009, we were young people, 15, 16, you know, and we were vibrant for theatre arts. We had a dynamic theatre arts teacher, Mr. Anderson Abari, and he worked with us, mentored us, and supported us, whereas we were the first batch of students to write theatre arts as a CSEC subject at the school. It wasn't even timetable in, so we had to use our lunch period to do our coursework and SEs and everything. Where now they have a full theatre arts room and they're doing the works at Bristol Secondary. And yes, special thanks to them at school and kudos to the alumni. So what we saw was that we used theatre arts and we used drama in education. The Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs back then came to our school, saw the fantastic work our drama teacher was doing, and asked him to pull some children in Central Trinidad into theatre arts. From there, Dunamis Drama Revolution was built under the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. And Dunamis Drama Revolution went throughout Trinidad, educating secondary school students about social issues using drama. We realized that the creative arts taught us some key soft skills that developed us into the persons we are today. He is in the very well in life in terms of the network he has found in terms of his studies in international relations and doing heavy community and social entrepreneurship, where he would have partnered with me to do some projects, and myself getting seriously involved in social issues by studying social work. Even went on to do my practitioner certificate in theatre arts after I finished my degree because of my love and passion for the arts. My mom didn't really fancy doing theatre. She was like, you're not gonna make no money with that. So I couldn't do it as a degree.
Yeah.
So after, when I was a big woman and I finished my degree, I went and I did it at my practitioner certificate.
Yeah.
Okay, mommy.
That's right.
I am studying theatre arts, whether you like it or not. And nonetheless, I said, but anytime my lecturers met me, I was like, I just want to add creative interventions to social issues. That has always been my passion, how we could address social problems using our creative being. I always use drama for everything. It was my escape, my self-care, my route. And if I used it for me, and if my best friend used it for him, who's partnering with me, and my other girlfriend who was partnering with me in this project was part of the Dunamis Drama Revolution. It's like there's too much in common. We could use drama for this population as well.
Yeah.
And they're not an exception. I attended a Autism Summit. So the education was my journey. So I started to read up on things and listen to things. And I saw where there was a school where they recruited children with autism to do theatre arts in the US. And for some of those movies, they would come to this center and they would scout for children to be a part of it. So like Love on the Spectrum and other specific shows, Atypical and others, they will actually have a school. So the director would have this assistant director who's versed in autism and working with autistic children in the arts, be accompanied on set. And I was like, if they can do that, and that is on Broadway,
So yeah,
shows.
I can see how this autism thing already.
I said, yeah, we can do that, because if anybody knows Trinidad, we are filled with rich culture.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You can't beat us with that.
We got culture crazy.
You know, I say it's in our DNA, it's in our
Didn't know
Caribbean.
before. I know now. Big up you, Kenny Phillips, for creating a space where we could explore and enhance this thing. Yeah.
Yes, the creative artists in us. If you go to, well, I was in UE, the CFA, and the whole bunch of them, and they work in there, and the black box, and dance, and there's music, and they go on, and there's a passion. Regardless of what we have it in us. And I said, these children, they do have it in them. They learn it. They look at YouTube all day, and this baby shark going on, and they're singing and they're singing. And I watch my son dance and express himself. And I'm like, he can do it on stage. And I had naysayers saying things like, okay, sensory overload, and the lighting might be an issue, and the sound might be too much because they'll get overstimulated and things like that. And I said, yes, I agree. But we have to try. We could try. We could develop systems where they can be supported on the platform. So Autism came to be powered by culture, shaped by neurodiversity, where neurodivergent and neurotypical children can be in a shared creative arts space, learning from each other, exploring what true inclusion looks like, building their skills, life skills, soft skills, social skills. Okay, we want them to communicate with each other, to empathize with each other, and interact. I'm seeing my neurotypical and neurodivergent child in my home interact with each other. It's amazing. And I think many times we spend, I was listening to a parent once sharing, we spend hours teaching an autistic child to adapt to the regular world.
Yeah.
But sometimes we teach regular children how to interact with them as well.
Yeah.
So there'll be shared knowledge and support and mutual support, mutual aid.
Yeah.
So I believe 20 participants that we are going to work with for 10 weeks in that shared creative arts space, free of charge, coming together, learning. I think that just is start. Once we gather research, because we want this project to be sustainable, to be impactful, we will be researching this, evaluating best practices, designing a curriculum to work with them, reviewing that, tweaking that as we go. And I'm sure by the next cohort, as we know, if it's just impact one, how many persons will be able to effect change with. So those 20 participants, maybe it's just a small percentage of the diverse population we have. But I believe as we grow and we continue to spread awareness through our productions that will be coming forward after our programs are done, we will begin to see changes in education, for inclusive education, how we really support our children using the creative arts. All right, we want to let out everything. We have some other plans behind the scenes to do, but truly embracing how the children function. And I'm speaking a lot about the children, but let's not forget the parents. We're not leaving out the parents.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm merging social work and theatre arts. My social work skills, group and individual counseling is key to see growth in persons. It's a therapeutic method. It has been tested and tried over many years at many platforms. So what we will also be doing is, while the children are engaged, the caregivers and parents will be supported through trained facilitators in the mental health field, and they will be exploring key areas such as emotional intelligence, trauma-informed practices, giving them real life exercises to make life easier, useful tools that could help them discipline their children, help them with areas such as sensory overload, how they can give the parents ways to relax, to regulate, to de-stress in their day-to-day lives. And from this, our parents will be able to have the tools, because a lot of parents struggle, and I can speak for me, because we don't have the tools to better. If you have the tools, you can work well, right? You can do more.
Yeah.
Right? Tools that we thanks to the Autistic Society, Miss Amoy and her team, they would have shared with us some basic tools that we can try with our children. They're teaching them basic skills of use of apology, potty training, yes and no, simple things like that. Parents don't have the know-how how to navigate that, and they rely on external persons to do it for them when they can be empowered
Yeah.
do it for themselves. Because the biggest factor we have here, we have limited service providers and high costs attached to service
Yeah.
providers.
There is two things. One, I want to congratulate you already on what y'all have done, because I met you very briefly
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago. I believe it was on it was Autism Awareness.
Yeah. But yes,
Yes.
no, it was
Yes.
the same day of, no, not Autism Awareness. It was the day of Down Syndrome Day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We
correct.
did the little video.
And immediately it was like, yo, we have to help, we have to lean in, we have to make the space available, we have to do what it takes. And I actually got around to getting other people involved in some of the things to try to move things along.
Yes.
But you're already getting allies and advocates just off the preliminary work that you've done.
Yes.
One interaction with you, and I was already like, hey, we had to see what we could do about this, and we need to get this on the show, and we need to, because this is important. Neurotypicals, it might be easier for neurotypicals to adjust than for neurodivergent to have to keep adjusting, but we can't just pick one side and ignore the other, right? The other thing that I'm thinking about is, if I'm not mistaken, the neurodivergent population in Trinidad and Tobago is significantly higher than a lot of people give it attention. I think it's like 1 in 6. You know.
I won't quote the exact number.
Mhm.
Can't really quote the exact figure.
Well, it's
But
difficult to quote an
how-
exact, but
Yes. we have the Autistic Society. They have about 1,000 parents just registered with just their society, and that is no way close to the figures we have of children on the spectrum. And again, we're speaking of autism, but we have other persons on the spectrum with other diverse experiences. All right, that we don't speak of. Again, we have silent ones. All right, and then the very overt diagnoses that persons accustomed seeing, that those physical disabilities. So definitely more research has to be an attention to be given to the community of not just ASD, but generally persons living with disabilities and various types of disabilities. So our focus is ASD for now.
right.
For now, and that's just simply because, again, I'm starting where I feel comfortable, where I know a little bit about my passion,
Yeah.
but it's not limited to autism. We want to get into other areas, the intellectual disabilities. We know ADD, ADHD. We want to see how these children, because some autistic children, they have comorbidities. So they have ASD as well as another disability. We're not sure if some of them may come into our program. They may register, and we will have to be prepared to work with them and gather new approaches through our aides who would be trained working with them throughout the week. And we all gonna be learning at the same time. You know, we're not gonna show them that we're nervous or anything, but we're gonna look at them and be like, listen, we're gonna be learning from you as much as you're learning from us.
Oh yeah.
Because we have a theatre arts training facilitator who will be working with them, and we have the aides there. But we are excited to see what they're going to bring to that space. And I know Joash will be there working with us, and we'll invite you guys to see. But that is why we would want to have the show, the final production, so that you, the public, you guys, can come out and see for yourself what we have been privy to.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We're not going to it's important, again, we treat them with respect and dignity. Those are core principles that we treat the dignity and worth of everyone. I stand by that through my profession, worker, and as an individual. So these kids are not a spectacle. They're not going to be out there for you to just listen to see or just say, oh, okay, and just empathize. No.
Yeah.
We want you to embrace them, their unique self, what they bring to life, what they have to contribute to society. And even though I tell you, there's a time working in the school system, I had a child, an at-risk child, and a teacher once told me, and it shook my entire inside, that I was hired to teach normal children, not abnormal children.
Wow.
And when she said that to me, that stuck with me, and I was like, what is abnormal?
Didn't
I tell you, I said, what is abnormal? What is abnormal to you? In my field, we have children at risk and children in need of attention. You know, you use terminologies that are sensitive. A lot of people are not culturally sensitive and not aware to this community. They endure so much, and Joash had the opportunity to go to the Autistic Society with me a few weeks back, and we were able to hear so much in terms of the lived experiences, bound by confidentiality, which is the experiences of parents and children, what they endure in various sectors of society in Trinidad, where I know for a fact we can do more. We can do more with policies. We can do more to adjust with various support systems for them. And the work has just begun, because there are many forerunners who have been speaking on various platforms, and kudos to them. And I'm here to just contribute to the whole. You know, we don't want to work in silos. Already a small community advocating for their rights, and we want to figure out how we all can connect, and how my little contribution in Artism, being the creatives, how could that support what someone else is doing in advocacy for ASD, and what someone else is doing, and eventually we will take it up to the decision makers, who I believe already they are aware, you know, but probably we need to provide them with, again, the data, the research, the support, to show them, again, there's always dollars and cents, where this money is going to go, and who is going to be impacted, and how it's going to be sustained. And I think we can create more sustainable projects and more targeted, sustainable and relevant projects to work with this population. Again, we can do more, because it's never enough. We can't say, okay, it's not enough going on now for them. That's it. We could stop now. No?
You know, one thing I recognize, and I must, Ricardo, say kudos, must give you kudos for, is your passion. Like, there is no way it can be missed. Like, your passion is just overflowing, and I am just excited to see what comes out of this. And that's why I love being around and learning. And you mentioned that I was there for the session at the Autistic Society, and in that one little session I began seeing persons in my mind, family members, and like even that same day I went to Thanksgiving, and you know, I started wondering, I wonder here or there, you know, but obviously I'm new to it, so I have to learn how to, you know, communicate different things, and I'm learning, and there are persons I would have interacted with in the past, friends, you know, I'm learning, and I'm seeing how these little sessions actually help to bridge the gap.
Yes.
You know, so I just love, and I'm looking forward to how our society, our sweet Trinidad and Tobago, will become more of an accepting space where people can live a little more freely, because even the Autistic Society, not the Autistic Society, but persons in the Autistic Society, they are people. They are just as valuable as each and every one of us, and God created them with a purpose, and we need to respect each other and learn to live with each other, you know?
Yes.
Learn how to grow together, learn how to learn together. So
Right.
I'm just looking forward to it.
Yes, you won't believe, I was so nervous to start this project. I did this project proposal, and when I got accepted for so part of alumni, as I would have been selected into 2022 the U.S. Embassy to represent Trinidad on a scholarship program. And coming out of that, I came back home. I had to implement a project, and I'm big into youth advocacy. So my project was the Youth Empowerment Mentorship Program, which we have ran for 3 years, and it's going to be ongoing. It's an ongoing project, and out of that, I became part of the alumni, and they had a call for persons to apply for a grant, a small grant, and I reached out, and by faith I got accepted. It's the first time they ever did a grant under the alumni to me, and they're you won't believe the amount of applications. And they selected 6 because that's all the money they had to divide the loaves and the fishes.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my grantee collaborator when we were doing the proposal, we had a figure we were working with. I said, chop it down, chop it lower. I said, no. I said, chop it lower. I said, here's what. Because if they say they only giving out 5 grants, if we chop our budget lower, somebody else to get another grant. And 6 persons to get a grant. Because they said the target was 5. Do you believe they awarded 6
Wow.
grants?
Yeah.
And that was my goal. He's like, why would you say that? I was like, no, because if everybody drop it by 100, and I just do the maths, then they could give one more person a grant. And they actually had 6 awards.
I get like a little emotional right now. Like,
My phone's raising.
like inside, I'm feeling like that is what I want from you. Like, wow, hey,
Yeah, I
That's-
just wanted more.
that I'm seeing it in capitals, right? That's a kingdom move there.
Yeah.
That is, hey, we're church tonight. Wow.
More people can get it. And last week I had an opportunity to speak on my project. So with all the other grantees and their mentors and other countries, and I represented the Caribbean and the Latin America. They placed me in that category because I was the only person to receive a grant in this area. We had 3 persons from the African continent, and a colleague was from Maldives and another one from Dhaka. And there are a lot of them doing work in terms of youth work, GBV, and they're doing women empowerment. And my project was the only project in inclusive education. Most persons, we did have someone doing support for autistic parents and cancer survivors in terms of focusing on the psychosocial support. But I'm telling you, this grant opportunity came so timely. And I was so nervous because it's a new territory for me. And I'm like, it's faith as the kingdom. It's faith. It's like, it's a passion here. As you mentioned, just like a P for possibilities, P for passion. That's my P. And it's really a passion to really give back to this community as a parent, as a mom. I'm telling you, when I used to take my child to school, I used to look at the faces of the parents. They always look tired. They always look drained. Nobody interacts with anybody when we dropping off. We just drop off and go, drop off and go. Nobody's saying hi. Whereas when I go for my neurotypical son, parents are like, hi. You know, everybody interacted and so bubbly. But you could really see the stress factor for the parents there and everybody. And then I come back to that concept of shame and stigma. You could feel it. I used to feel it and I watched them. I even had a friend register her child and she pulled me aside. She was like, tell me about the school. Is it good? I don't know. She had came from a strong spiritual background and she didn't tell much people that she was bringing her son to special school. And she did not know how they would take it. And because of my personal experience, I was able to encourage her. And she registered her son. And oh Lord, I advertise that school and I tell everybody, you go, you will learn and you will. And the shame and stigma for me moved. But I saw a lot of parents struggle with it. So through our program, the emphasis will be definitely with the parents and definitely with the children and creating models that can be replicated in multiple spaces when you're working with neurodivergent children and their caregivers and what can be done for them. So I am very thankful for this opportunity, Joash and Mr. Ricardo, and this platform and the entire station for having me in this month of Autism Awareness Month to really share what we're doing here in Central Trinidad in the area of autism that will take Trinidad hopefully by storm, and that our final production in July, as we advertise and we share it, would really impact lives because autistic persons can do mighty things once given the right tools and opportunities.
I really believe that. Wow. I don't think I've heard enough yet. You can keep on speaking, but I know we have a time to go with and someone has to come on the station next. But I don't know. There's so many questions I have.
Yeah, I am. We were joking before we started recording and saying, how long are we gonna talk for? I'm like, 2.5, 3 hours. You know, now it's kind of like, oh, I could see how that would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this I'm still feeling like there's so much we can't get into.
Mhm.
So, what I'm going to do, one of the things, the living room, one of the foundations, one of the pillars of the living room is mental health awareness. right, and advocacy. And over the years, we've learned new ways to explore and to flesh out that objective. I want to commit to you, right, the living room as a space where we will have more conversations, where we will be updated in terms of what you guys are working on, the outreach that you're doing, the connections that you're making. I said earlier that you gained advocacy and allyship already. I'm not joking, and that's not something I'm going to bestow on myself. What I'm saying is that I'm going to work towards that, because it's a space where I'm a brethren, a brother, a friend of mine. I remember the first time he told us that his son was diagnosed, and how expensive it was for the tests, and how expensive every semester is, and how few schools actually like, I see in his face now, and I want to message him when I get home and tell him look out for the tomorrow's episode, because we're recording before and then we airing Tuesday night, right? But I'm gonna let him know, look out for this. I'm going to share it. Big up Joash on the flyer that he did preliminarily. So I don't have to do that. But what I'm saying is, what you're doing, it matters already. But I'm committing this space to making sure that we get it, we get the impact, we get the influence out.
So much.
Because I'm telling you, big people talking sitting here. Like, this is what you're doing is kingdom work.
Thank you.
And I have an obligation to respond to that. So I thank you. I thank you so much. We are perilously close to the hour of 7 o'clock, and Mr. Desmond is up next. But I am going to ask you, is there anybody you want to acknowledge? Any closing remarks? Any dates you want to give us? Contacts, socials?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So most definitely, I want to thank God for the opportunity to be here, for the vision, the purpose, the creative idea. All creativity comes from him. He is so creative in all his ways. And I'm thankful for just being a vessel at this time to make an impact. Closing remarks, I just want to really thank my village. You know yourselves, you're listening right now. You're supporting me 100%. The whole Autism project team, planning team, aides, volunteers, our expertise and stakeholders, those who are helping us with research, and the artistic director, everyone, thank you for the work. The work starts. We planning mode, running slim with time, but nonetheless, we are coming along. Project starts April 25th. We encourage you to check us out, Cupid's Doorway for Mothers and Children on Instagram, and you will find the link in our bio to register for Project Autism. Yes, we are in Central, but guys, commute, come out, be a part, register. There's no limitations, and we have limited spots, but please register and come on board, because in July, one of this show will be showcased, where you'll get all the details very soon. So please reach out to me at 323-5490, Chervon Cupidore, 323-5490. Reach out if you want any more information. As Mr. Ricardo mentioned, you want to be an ally, you want to support in some way or the other. Please, if you're listening and you feel that passion and that tugging in you to come on board, we thank you in advance for coming on board, and be obedient and join in with us. If you could support as a stakeholder in any way possible, we embrace it. Check us out on Instagram again, Cupid's Doorway for Mothers and Children. My name is Chervon Cupidore Crookie. I'm glad to be on the show, glad to be here with everyone. And it's a great pleasure to advocate in the wilderness for this community that I am so passionate and feel led to do in this season.
Lovely. I am so glad that you came on the show. It was amazing. I am heightened. I feel really well that you came, you spoke with us, and I feel empowered to go forward and, do my part in this job. In the national anthem, it says, where every creed and race find an equal place. It's more than just creed and race. Every single person, every divergent person, every people in their different spheres, they are all important, and we all have a place where we can let Trinidad be that place where we can live together in unity and and peace and love and kindness. So I'm Joash Webb, if you don't know, but it's Web of Influence, and I'm really just here to connect you to the source.
Well, I can't keep this up, otherwise I'll end up out of a job. But man, Josh, you're bad. I want to thank you again for everything that you brought to the program already. And listeners, I know all you're in the shout box and thing already. These are the types of guests that we're going to bring into the living room, and these are the type of connections we're going to make as the living room grows. I thank you all for being on board with us. Joash, fantastic work. Looking forward to more of this. Aaron, we miss you, We miss you. Right? But don't leave too big a gap now. You see what's going on already. Right, Chervon? God bless you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you. Right? We will be in touch.
Yes.
We will continue the work. Joash was right. I feel energized. He said empowered. I feel energized. I feel charged. And I'm going to respond to that. Alright, keep up the great work. And well, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global stage. Thank you all for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good, stay safe, and you know what? Let's do our best to make sure that everyone finds an equal place. That God will bless our nation.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Desmond is up next to the big band. Aaron might be back next week, Tuesday, but he will be in the Friday Night Lime on WAC 90.1 FM. Keep it locked.